Hello, I'm Ann Willett, Senior Pastor at Northaven Church. As a church that values social justice, Northaven has always believed that faith and justice go hand in hand. In our Northaven Voices interviews this month, we will feature church members and community leaders who will share their stories and insights on how we can continue to strive to be an anti-racist congregation. I hope you will enjoy.
Good morning, Northaven friends, and welcome to Northaven Voices this week. My name is Bob Roton, and I am honored to be sitting here with Pastor Charles Stovall. Good morning.
Good morning, Bob, and good morning to Northaven.
Yes, and we're glad to have you. It's so exciting.
Thank you.
So we're interviewing Pastor Charles this week, along with our initiative for a journey towards racial justice. And he's going to share with us his story involved in civil rights and the social justice here in Dallas. So we'll just get started. But first of all, let me just talk a little bit about his background. Charles is a retired United Methodist minister.
Yes, sir.
He was a pastor at Camp Wisdom United Methodist Church for over 15 years. And then he went to Munger United Methodist Church for a year, and then I can't remember, Charles, all of them.
I can't remember all of them, Bob, but I know I was an associate at St. Luke when Zan Holmes was there.
Yeah.
And I was at St. Paul for a year and just all over the place, my friend.
Yeah. Well, we are so grateful to have you with us today, and thank you for taking the time to do this. This is a very, Northaven is committed to striving to be an anti-racist congregation. And so we have partnered with the North Texas Conference on a program they launched called Journey Towards Racial Justice.
Yes.
So what our goal this month our plan this month is to interview people that have been involved, not only within our congregation, but people in the community as community leaders that have been involved in advocating for social justice and equality and race and anti-racism. So Charles, why don't you tell us your story? In your involvement with racism in Dallas, your social justice initiatives.
You know, Bob, actually, my involvement began before I came to Dallas because my father was a United Methodist pastor.
Oh, okay.
And he grew up in Calhoun City, Mississippi. I know y'all can find that on your map.
I find that on the map. So.
And he really was an inspiration to me because he was all about social justice in the whole 9 yards. But my story in Dallas actually began when I moved to Dallas with my wife, Denise Johnson Stovall. Mm-hmm. And she wrote for the United Methodist Reporter at the time. She wrote for the Dallas Morning News. And her name was Denise Johnson Stovall, and I will always honor and remember her name.
Your eyes just light up when you talk about it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So when I first came to Dallas, we were in the middle of racial strife even back then. Mm-hmm. So because of my background, and I was involved even when I was in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So when I came to Dallas, there was no gap between my heart for civil rights and my heart for multi-ethnic participation. Mm-hmm. And when I came to Dallas, I just came ready to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any story any event that just comes to mind that had a major impact on you, mm-hmm. or maybe there's many, but can you?
Well, you know what? right in front of Dallas City Hall. We turned that pond in front of City Hall blue.
Blue? Tell me about that. Tell me more.
Where we just decided to go up there and dump a lot of blue dye into the water. It didn't hurt anything, but we just turned the whole fountain blue. And I remember that because people just didn't understand what was going on. But we wanted to say that because of the situation in Dallas at the time, we wanted to just express the fact that things had to change. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the efforts we used to demonstrate that.
So what was the significance of dyeing it blue?
We just wanted something to be different than what it was.
Just to draw.
And then the blue was the way that we did that. Yeah. Because, red wouldn't work. Yellow wouldn't work. So blue was a significant color. Uh-huh.
And just like me, what was the significance of it? So it got my attention.
Yeah.
Okay. What happened after that?
Well, throughout my ministry in Dallas, we were confronted with police. We were confronted with so many obstacles that was meant to discourage us. But we never let the obstacles discourage us. And between Peter Johnson and myself, we worked together to create an atmosphere of unity, an atmosphere of, I would call it an atmosphere basically where peace really could become a possibility.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So what kind of things, how did you create those atmospheres? What were some of the activities that you and Peter Johnson and the other, I guess there was a group of you that would what would be the action that you guys would do?
We did so much. Bob, I can't really remember.
Yeah.
Because we did a lot of protests, a lot of sit-ins. I know we went to, Peter wasn't a part of this, but at the time, there was another guy who was confronted with the police at City Hall. And I went to City Hall and actually broke down. I went through the police line to be with this particular guy. It was actually able to walk him through the police line to freedom. And those kind of things are just things that were fit for that particular day.
And that took a lot of courage, right? So
yes, it
takes a lot of courage to walk through a police line.
Well, anything you do that's about freedom and that's about trying to get justice takes a lot of courage.
Yeah. And that's an important statement for all of us to hear, is because, we have to step out of our comfort zone. We have to step out of that fear, and take risk, and use our voices, right? So,
yeah, what you said is so important. When you say stepping out of your comfort zone, why do we have comfort zones? Because zones gives us comforts.
Yeah.
But when you want to step out of that comfort zone, you're stepping into a totally different zone. And that may be risky. That may be something that causes unrest. But you have to be willing to accept those kind of things. And I think that's one of the things I appreciate about Northaven, because Northaven stepped out of this comfort zone as an upscale Anglo church. Even when it came down to its attitude towards same-sex marriages or anything it wanted to do, it stepped out of its comfort zone. And I appreciated that.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I know when you and I were visiting that you had the significant people that at North Haven that have played a great partnership with you. You talked about Pastor McElhaney.
Oh, Bill and I were good friends.
Yeah, and his wife friend.
Oh yeah.
You talked about Jan Sanders.
Yeah, Jan and I are still friends to this day. So she is really such a good lady.
Well, you also talked about when we were just visiting about your belief system. Like the one God, and how you wanted to embrace the diverse world. Yeah, I guess.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little more about that?
Well, that's such a part of who I am now. When I was coming up, my father, being a United Methodist minister, never told me, don't listen to Islam, don't listen to any other religion. He just let me grow on to my own person. And to this day, I appreciate that. And I think that when it comes to my being involved with so many religions, I never embraced any other religion other than Christianity. Mm-hmm. But I did expose myself to a multiplicity of religions. Mm-hmm. And they helped me as a United Methodist pastor. Mm-hmm. Because when I came to Dallas, I was already formed to be the kind of person that was accepting of people for who they are, and not for what I wanted them to be.
Isn't that what we all want to strive to be, is let people be who they are and love them, right? I
found that that's so difficult for so many people. Mm-hmm. They want people to be like you are. Mm-hmm. And have your beliefs and your particular prescriptions. And that's just not the way I was reared, and that was not the way I developed.
It's wonderful that your father, at that in that period of time, was saying it's giving you that foundation to accept all. That everyone is equal, everyone is significant. Under God's eyes. So that's beautiful.
And the thing I really appreciate about my father is when he saw me going through those changes, he never once berated me. He never once told me what I had to do. Mm-hmm. He always showed me the greatest respect and the greatest love.
Mm-hmm. And that's the message we want to share as North Haven. We want to meet people in the community, and all everywhere that we're there, we respect and we love them. So that's our goal. We welcome them, everyone.
That's one of the things I really appreciate about North Haven, because throughout my time in Dallas, North Haven has been a shining star in the midst of darkness. You have been there.
Thank you. So, Pastor Charles, what would you say is one of the most challenging experiences that you've had? Think of something that during your activism, that was most challenging for you, or that had such an impact that it was such a loss for you, or
it's such an accumulation of things in my head. It's hard for me to separate them, because when that's part of your life, it's different. It's difficult to say this event or this particular situation is what has made the greatest impact.
Yeah. What today, if we look at today, the current times, what do you feel we need to do that we're not doing to have equality, to address the racism. You know,
I really think that President Biden has said some of the things that need to be said.
mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I would like for him to be able to be more forceful with the things he said when he was running for president. Mm-hmm. And I really would like to see him be less concerned about how he thinks others are perceiving him, mm-hmm. and just go back to what he was saying when he was on the campaign, mm-hmm. what he was saying when he was President Obama's vice and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I just think that he tends to be trying to not be controversial, mm-hmm. and at the same time, he's losing his steam and losing his power, mm-hmm. when it comes to the significant things. Mm-hmm. So that's what I feel about him.
So we need to speak up and send messages to him to use his voice and be bold with what he wants to do.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you feel are the most critical issues for Dallas right now in dealing with racism? Do you have like a top three or?
It's difficult for me to think of because Dallas has changed so much over the years.
Okay.
You know, it used to be a North Dallas and a South Dallas and Southern Dallas. Mm-hmm. And I don't see that like that anymore, mm-hmm. because even in my neighborhood, we were getting to dead white flight. This neighborhood changed from being an Anglo neighborhood to being a black neighborhood. And now that a lot of Anglos have is that we're no longer comfortable being in the outer city. We want to move back into the inner city. Mm-hmm. And so whenever comes the priority for the Anglo community, that's going to displace a lot of black people. Mm. It's going to displace a lot of black communities. Mm. And even when I live in Oakville, we begin to get white flag. Mm-hmm.
So the challenge there is because the whites want to move back into the Dallas Metroplex.
Yes.
They're moving back into the communities where the affordable housing and the black community live, and they're pushing you guys.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's serious. Yeah.
But all people deserve to live what they want to live. Mm-hmm. But for that, it's not a matter of wanting to live in this area. It's a matter of economics and property and stuff like that. Yeah.
So are you saying that Dallas is becoming more divided?
I think definitely we're becoming more divided. Mm-hmm. And also, like I said, African Americans are being pushed out of the neighborhoods that have been abandoned by Anglo. But that's also a matter of power when it comes to economics and when it comes to race. Mm-hmm. Because if they can move out and we move in, they won't move back in, and they can actually literally move us out.
Right.
That's
I've been reading that book. Reading the book, The Cast.
Yeah.
By Isabel. I can't remember her last name, but anyway, that was talking about how we've put people of color in a different, caste, different system, because through economics, or through jobs, opportunities, or those types of things. So, yeah.
Thank you for mentioning that book. I need to find that book.
Okay. Well, I'll get you that book because it's a very powerful book for me. So.
Okay. Well, when you gonna give me the book, Bob?
I'll give it to you. I'll bring it to you. I'll get you the book. I promise.
All right.
Deal?
All right, it's a deal, man.
Okay. Okay. What do you think Northaven, when you talk about being bold, and you talk about the inequality in housing and so forth now, what do you think Northaven, action that Northaven can do in becoming more anti-racist?
But I really don't know what the community is now around Northaven. Because at one time, Northaven was in a very prestigious Anglo neighborhood. I have no idea what the neighborhood is like now.
It's still the same.
Okay.
Pretty much the same. So we're trying to open our doors and communicate, educate, and who we are, about equality and about acceptance, and and those types.
That's a good place to start the ball, because if you don't communicate that, how is community going to know that you're open to that? And as you communicate that, just be ready to realize that not everyone thinks the same way Northaven thinks. So you're going to have different you're going to have different groups that are going to say, well, we're with the group that wants more control for Anglo, because Anglos are really beginning to feel pushed out. And Northaven has to have a message for them as well as the people they want to invite in.
Very good point. Very good point. Because that's exactly, so there's a lot of defensiveness and protection.
Sure.
Any other things you would like to share about your experience before we wrap up, Pastor Charles? Or any comments you would like to make?
Well, Bob, I just feel that we have to always try to be the best people we can be. And whatever that is, look at the model that God has left us through Jesus. And if we do that and realize the essential things that Jesus stood for. He wasn't denominational, he wasn't Christian or Jewish. He was a Jew, for sure. But he died for all people. He didn't die just for black people, white people, Chinese people, any of that.
Everyone.
He died for all of us.
Every one of us. You're right.
And that's will never change.
Yeah, that's right. Pastor Charles, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to meet you. And I will get you the book.
Amen.
Okay. It's just a pleasure. You take good care of yourself.
You too, man. Continue to do well.
We appreciate you. Northaven, I know Northaven is going to be excited.
Hey, y'all continue to take care of Northaven.
Thank you, guys. And we will see you next week.